And we are live, Senators.
Thank you, Alex. Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Vermont State Senate Committee on Institutions. Today is February 16th, 2022. I am your host for this afternoon's performance. I'm Joe Benning, State Senator from Caledonia County. Going across my screen, I also have on the committee Senator McCormick from Windsor County, Senator Parent from Franklin County, Senator Ingalls from Essex Orleans, and Senator Mazza from Colchester Grand Isle. Good afternoon to all of you. You, I think, have for the most part all been here before, but I'm going to give my typical little introductory speech in any event. We are live on YouTube. There's folks out there that we don't even know who they are on YouTube watching us. And we learned yesterday that one of our former pro tems was actually watching us all day. So there are people out there that are interested in what we're doing and talking about, but sometimes when they're listening, they may hear something by way of testimony that they don't understand. And if I get red flagged in my brain, something has come across in a way that somebody out there in YouTube land might not understand, I may interrupt your testimony just to stop and say, can you explain what X, Y, or Z happens to be, so that we hope that they are all on the same page we are. The first chapter of today's performance is going to deal with the Capital Grants Funds update, the Vermont Fairs Association. Jackie Folsom, I see you are here. I have you as the #1 person on my list, and I'm assuming that means you would like to lead off. You've heard me say this before, but I'll say to everybody that when you first start your testimony, it would be very helpful if you'd give us a 15-20-second rundown of your personal biography so that the folks out there in YouTube land can know who you are and how you fit into this conversation. So, Jackie, welcome back to Senate Institutions. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Senator Benning. So my name is Jackie Folsom. I wear many hats in the ag world and in the State House lobbying system, but today I'm wearing the lobbyist hat for the Vermont Fairs and Field Days. And I will say, because the last time I stopped into Senate Institutions and I heard from Senator Benning and Senator Mazza regarding the syrup situation, that we normally hand out little syrup nips when we come to the State House, we will be making arrangements with my representative, Henry Pearl, who drives by my house every day. And in May, he will be picking up a box full of the latest offering of syrup, maybe hopefully from Caledonia County. I haven't talked with Dick yet. And I will be coming in and distributing them to all of you. They will not be gallons, they will be nips, but as usual. But we heard the message loud and clear, and we're glad to accommodate Senate Institutions and the other committees that have listened to our folks today. So thank you very much.
Well, Jackie, if you just deliver them to Senate Institutions, I'll make sure the rest of the committee
No,
gets there.
no, don't.
Oh, yeah.
No, you bring them to the store and I can sell them.
Yeah.
Senator Mazza, you'll have to talk to Tim about that, okay? This is a tough crew, guys, I know. So we've seen Senator Parent already today, so he has heard from some of our members, but we're grateful for the opportunity. And I'll just say that we have representatives here from Caledonia, Champlain Valley, Vermont State Fair, Addison, and Tunbridge World's Fair. And we are here to tell you how they have used the grant, the capital grants money that you folks have voted through, $300,000 for this year and $300,000 for next year. And it's been wonderful for their bottom line. And I will start out by introducing former Representative Dick Lawrence and have him tell you about Caledonia County Fair.
I hope he's going to talk about his coffee clutch this morning, if he went.
I was not there because I was on Zoom meetings with the Vermont legislature.
Oh.
So, and I'm glad on this afternoon, Senator Joe. And
Okay.
make a correction. Because I'm Dick Lawrence, president of Caledonia County Fair. I have been involved with the fair for 37 years, and I'm as president, and I'm an ex-member of the Vermont legislature as a representative from the Linden area. So thank you for listening to us. First, I'd like to make a correction because we at Vermont Fairs, we always are prepared for the unexpected. The syrup, because we did not know when we were going to be able to get to see you, I just want to correct will be last year's syrup unless we rebottle it. And I doubt that we do because it's already put up for you and waiting. And I happen to know where it is, but I just don't want you to think it's a 2002 syrup. It's a 2001 syrup, which is going to be equally as good, just aged a bit more. With that said, we thank you very much, Senate institutions, for helping us to promote our fairs. I look at it as a team effort, and I'm briefly going to explain why. This past year, Senator Bennington, our legislative area representatives and senators were invited to Caledonia County Fair. They saw a new dairy barn that we put up. That is exactly what we do with capital money. We put it into a capital project. This past year was a 120-foot by 24-foot dairy barn. This coming year, it's going to be replacement of 2 dairy barns, which we have already removed from site in preparation of building. And by the way, that's done by our local people at no charge or cost. This building, originally, the dairy barn was to replace one that's been in existence since the 1930s. And it was just time for replacement. Anybody had seen it would know that it's outlived its usefulness. So we placed out this one building and came to the conclusion we would have one building left because there were 3 buildings in the dairy needed replacing. So we got aggressive and placed out what to do.
Hey, Dick, can I stop you for just a second? Somebody's got a TV going on in the background or something, but if you're not testifying, if you could mute yourself, it'd be very helpful.
Nancy, I guess that would be you, please. We need.
Oh, was that Nancy? Whoops.
That's Nancy. Now we're in trouble, Joe. You may not ever get anything more.
Uh-oh.
But thank you. She had it really low, so she needs to mute it. Just turn it off there, please. So,
if it's Nancy, don't worry about it, Dick. I don't want to get in trouble.
I'm sure she can handle it.
Turn the sound off or is it the TV?
Turn the TV off, please. That better,
Sorry.
Joe?
Sorry.
That's okay. My apologies as well.
Mine too.
So we, Fair Association did some more research, redesigned, and put 2 buildings in the place of one, put one building in place of 2 rather, and went out and looked for sponsorship. So here we got some money from the state, some money from the, and we got a major sponsorship that enabled us to put a barn up that's going to accommodate the same area, same number of animals that the 2 previous barns did, but it's going to save us about $20,000 in replacing the 2 barns totally. So there's 5 of us here. I know we don't have a lot of time, and I do appreciate what we have done. And I would say that most of the buildings and improvements on our fairgrounds have been started with seed money from the state. Caledonia County Fair is proud of what we have, but we would not be near as proud of what we have if we didn't have the state support to start many of these projects. And that includes the buildings that we have built, as well as the infrastructure that you don't see in water and sewer. That's a whole story by itself, but those things are very expensive in the fair industry. Thank you, Senator Joe.
Thanks, Dick. Jackie, I have Tim Shea up scheduled next. I don't know if that was in your schedule.
Yes, it is. But I'd just like to say that we run into this every time we come into the Senate in the afternoons. And Senator Kitchell from Appropriations has given us 15 minutes starting at 2 o'clock. And so I'm going to have to probably have Mr. Lawrence and Mr. Shea bomb over to that committee across the hall pretty close to 2 o'clock. They're not being rude. They just have to continue the discussion.
As long as Mr. Shea gets on, otherwise he'll give me hell because, you know, I'm on the board.
No, I know. You keep him in line, will you, Senator Mazza? So Tim Shea is up next. Thank you.
He'll chew me out, so I don't want to do that.
Great, thank you. Thank you to the committee for your time here today. I know a busy schedule down there, but Tim Shea, Executive Director of the Champlain Valley Exposition, and I am also the President of the Vermont Fairs and Field Days Association. We appreciate the support that you've given to the fairs over the years. It's, a lot of infrastructure. Well, common denominator for all of us is the infrastructure we have for our events that we need to maintain throughout the events, and also when the events are not going on. This infrastructure is vital to our ability to host safe events, not only fairs, but other events we host throughout the year. Some examples of what we've done with our capital funds over recent years. Our grandstand's been in place since the mid 60s, and 2 years ago, we were notified that we need to install a fire alarm system into it. And if we didn't, we could no longer use it, which was not an option. So it's about a $35,000 project that we use our grant funds for. Again, if we didn't make that change, that improvement, we would no longer be able to use the grandstand. Again, it was not an option. We, over the years, have converted our 2 big buildings, the Miller Expo Center, to LED lighting. We did that through capital grants using Efficiency Vermont funds as well as our own funds. What's nice about an investment along those lines is we continue to reap the benefits of that investment in the term of lower utility rates. Those lights in the wintertime, we host shows and soccer programs, and those lights are on quite a bit. So we've already seen savings from those investments there. We, like most of the fairs, have campgrounds or campsites. Again, to keep up with current electrical standards, we had to change the hookups that we have. And last year we did about a $30,000 upgrade in our campground. One, from a safety perspective, so that the infrastructure was current. But 2, with campers now, most of them needing 50 amp versus 30, from a guest experience, we can provide a better experience. This summer, we're doing the next line of our campground hookups as well. Again, none of these things are very exciting, but they're vital to the long-term viability of our facility, and I know the others here as well. We have over the years replaced the HVAC units in our big buildings. Each one, our largest building, has about 6 of them, and each one is about $26,000 to replace. So we've done 5 already, doing 1 this spring. Again, you reap the benefits of the ones you're putting in are run much more efficiently, so there's savings that you'll realize moving forward. Probably the final example I'll give is the Vermont State Building, one of the oldest buildings on our grounds. As an old building, the roof needs to be repaired, and we'll be working on that this summer as well. Again, with all these funds, we take state dollars, matched with our dollars, and when we can, we reach out to Efficiency Vermont and other partners to help I think stretch all of our dollars a bit further. So with that, I'll close, and again, just thank you for the support given the fairs over the years.
Tim, you still got Jeff Bartley working over there?
He is on it. Yes, he is. And the new proud father. He just returned from some leave here, but yes, he's a great team member here for us.
I'll give you my condolences once again.
I'll pass that on to him.
All right. Thanks, Tim. Jackie, I've got Robert Congdon next from the Vermont State Fair down in Rutland.
That's correct, sir.
Robert, welcome.
Thank you all, and thank you again for having us. I think this is my 2nd or 3rd time in meeting with you all, so I appreciate each year the ability to come and give you a little bit of an update. And I think so I've been the president of the Vermont State Fair now for 4 years. And our exciting news, and of course, this is especially thankful for the ARPA funds and the extra funds that came our way during COVID. We were able to remain on track because of that money and put what I call the dark history of the Vermont State Fair behind us. And the troubled years are truly behind us, because that money was able to help us stay on track with paying off the long-term debt that we had acquired from previous administrations and some bad management decisions back then. So we really have that behind us now, and that's exciting for us to really move forward. Our grant money has been instrumental as well. We have done 2 new bathroom facilities. We have completed a major overhaul of, we have several historical buildings on our grounds since we've been there since 1846, which poses its own set of problems because that also means we have aging infrastructure that constantly needs attention. But we had a turn of the century building, the first aid building, which was really an exhibit building that was thrown up in around 1900. And like most exhibit buildings from that time period, they literally built it on the dirt, and it was designed just to be there for exhibits. And when it was gone, it was gone. And this one lasted, even though the sills had rotted to nothing, it was still there. And we were able, with grant money, to go through about a 3-year process of getting that building rehabbed so that now it's going to be there, you know, for generations to come and be able to see some historical aspects of the fair. So that was exciting, and grant money was instrumental in completing that project. And going forward, last year's and this year's are being allocated to do a roof overhaul on one of our main exhibit buildings, which has, again, dates back to about 1930 something, I think is what most of our histories say. And it's in dire need of just a total overhaul of the roof. So 2 years of that grant money are going to go towards that project. So you all, the seed money that was put in for those 2 years totals out to right around $50,000, and the project's going to cost us between 75 and 100. So we'll be putting in the other chunk and getting it done. And like both Tim and Dick have said, you know, without the support from you all and the ability to have access to those funds, these projects wouldn't be able to happen. And you are a major part of that. So thank you for your support over the years, and going forward too. We know your support that you've voiced over and over again. So we thank you for that. We are looking ahead as well in the years to come to hopefully get a stage rebuilt. That's one of the things that needs to happen, as well as several other buildings, you know, have footings that are cracking and just different things with aging infrastructure that we're going to be looking at tackling from year to year and getting those things done. As well as we've shared in some of the other committees, some of the major issues that we face in Rutland, and I know Tim faces it at Champlain and Addison as well. We are facing, of course, the implications of the 3-acre rule, which is going to be massive amounts of investments into infrastructure, which for some of us right now, as we're looking down it, look to be insurmountable. But we certainly are going to be tackling those things in the future. So, for example, for us in Rutland, we're looking at roughly $1 million is what we're being at least initially told, as well as the ongoing fees that are certainly going to be challenging. So we would, I know it's a across the legislature issue up there, and we would appreciate any support that you all can show the fairs in tackling those issues as well. They certainly are pretty big in the windshield right now as we're looking at everything and starting to get our scopes and engineering studies underway. Especially those of us that have really aged infrastructure. There's a lot to be done. So.
Robert, appreciate that. For you and Tim, who I know has to run away in a moment, you guys have any rules about statewide politicians campaigning on your grounds?
We are what I call equal opportunity politician location. So we don't bar anything. We do obviously bar the fair itself from taking any political stances. But when it's an election year, the president's building is, I call it Politicians Row, because you can walk down through and about every group you would imagine are represented to meet with the public. So we absolutely allow that.
I'll ask you to charge a certain individual who's running for statewide office some money. He's got a lot in his bank account. So,
well, they do have to pay the booth charge, you know. If
okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
If said person is like out at the front gate with a big motorcycle and a sign out there, they have to pay money.
Hey,
I didn't know Becca Ballant has a motorcycle too.
She does, actually.
We have a lot of a lot of folks come down and just walk the grounds with their signs, and you're more than welcome to do that as well and interact with people. We also kicked back off a tradition last year where we're having an opening parade each year, and more than welcome for anybody who wants to come down and be a part of that as well. So
Good to know.
All we ask is no
I would also like to suggest to anyone that might be listening is that when I go down to Rutland Fair, there is this wonderfully amazing house right across the street from the main gate that charges $5 to park there all day. And he's right there, just in case anybody wanted to know. And he's a very nice guy.
Somebody who might want to know may be in touch with you later on.
Well, I can't get involved politically either, sir, but I can be a resource. I can be a resource for anyone that wants it.
Very good.
Okay.
I have Ken Button up next from the Addison County Field Days. Ken, I don't know that you've ever been in front of us before, but if you haven't, welcome to Institutions, and even if you have, welcome back.
I have not been there before. I'm Ken Button. I'm now retired. I worked for 43 years for Yankee Farm Credit. And I've been a director of Addison Field Days for 21 years. I'm one of the 12 directors. The Field Days is a 5-day fair in New Haven, Vermont. It's our goal to do some sort of a major capital project each year. We couldn't get these off the ground if it wasn't for the capital grant that gives us the seed money to get started. It gives us the opportunity to go out and fundraise from sponsors or to secure loans. Some of the big players in our fair are nonprofits like the Lions Club and the 4-H Foundation and the FFA and the maple producers. And when we come around to ask for donations to help make up these projects, the Maple and the Lions have been major supporters of us several times over. So I want to make sure that they get that credit. Our grants typically cover 25 to 40% of the total cost of the project. This year, we're building 2 buildings. One is the poultry barn. We were going to do it last year, but we deferred it due to the high cost of construction. The estimated cost is going to be about $35,000. The grant is $14,000. So then we're making up the difference. The other structure this year is going to be a facility or we call it a barn to house antique tractors. And that estimated cost is like $80,000. And this year's grant was around $30,000 towards this project. Grants are up this year due to the increase in the grant funding. And this coincides well for, as you all know, the increase in the cost of construction. Both of these buildings will replace tents that we presently spend about $10,000 a year for these 2 tents. The buildings will also lend themselves for a winter storage program, which we've been blessed to. We've been able to fill every building on the grounds for winter storage. So not only the storage, but the $10,000 a year savings in the tent fees just for this year's 2 projects. One big project we did back in 2018 was we worked with Green Mountain Power and put in a new electric, I guess the word is grid, but a new poles and new lines on the grounds. And for a grant of around $20,000, we spent $61,000 on this project. And I could go back several years, but I will stop here. I would like to invite any of you, if you're ever can make it to the fair. This year is August 9 through the 13th. Just ask for me at the Welcome Center and I will be there and give you a tour of the projects. So
Ken, we appreciate you coming by. Just out of curiosity, what do you charge to store say a sports car like a Corvette? I know this guy just.
We have storage at the Champlain Valley Fair too, Mr. Chair, so, you know.
I'm trying to remember, if you're going south to north on the lake, you're actually going downstream, right? So there's a guy downstream from you, down the lake, who's got a few cars he probably could store in your facility. I'm curious, Senator Mazza, we ought to get him into a bidding war. Maybe you could get these guys to play off each other and score some storage points.
Oh, I got some pretty good storage right now. Yeah.
Ken, we appreciate you coming by, and I'm sure you'll be back again, I hope.
I hope so. And I just want to, thank you one more time for the grant program. So,
You run a good fair. You run a good fair there, Ken. It's a nice fair. Nice job.
Yeah, thank you.
Alan, I think that means you're last, the president of the Tunbridge Fair. I have to say the Tunbridge Fair is a great fair. Love to go down, with one caveat. You're just up the road from where I had to study for the bar exam. So every time I go down, I still get that weird feeling about having to study and fail something. It's been 38 years now, and I still go to the fair and feel that exact same thing.
You see, they're selling a share for $10,000.
Oh, is that right? Wow.
We thought you might have bought it.
Yeah. Yeah. They put that one share in the auction. It's up to 10 grand now. And it was $1 share or 50-cent share or something like that when it first started. Wasn't that right, Alan?
Well, it's supposed to be worth $100.
Yeah, $100. It's up to 10 grand.
Welcome back to Senate Institutions. Jackie, I know you may have to run. We'll handle Alan if you have to run.
Thank you very much, Senator, and thank you for everything you do for our fairs.
Thanks for coming. So,
Well,
Alan, what's going on?
Well, I guess it's gonna be similar to what everybody else has said. It's capital infrastructure as our biggest menace. But we're proud right now of 150 years this year is how many years we've been going. And they're up, they're in need of upgrading and to keep everything safe and beautiful. And we're really happy that we get grant money to help us with starting, infrastructure. One of the other big things, we built a multi-use building this year. We took down a building that was unsafe and added a 30 by 80 new building. And we just had a meeting last week and we named it the Heritage Hall. And it's going to be used for small meetings, small events, vendor space with Vermont products in it. And it was all capital grants and fundraising. So we're pretty proud of that. And a lot of the grant money is the same as many of the other fairs: electrical, water, septic. It's, I guess, the one biggest thing we can't seem to get our hold on is internet access. This valley is not good for that. But the fair is going really well, and it was a rough couple of years, but everybody pulled through. And we appreciate what everybody does for us in Montpelier. Even Senator Mazza.
That internet access, don't you guys have like a state senator down there somewhere that can actually produce a result for you somehow?
Yeah, who's your senator down there?
We don't have one.
He's muted right now, so he doesn't even know how to use his own internet.
No, I was going to correct your geographical ignorance, Mr. Chair. That's Orange County.
Oh,
So that's Senator McDonald. However, I live right down the road.
Yeah,
the northern tier of Windsor County, everything shuts down for Tunbridge Fair.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
And it's just everything goes to Tunbridge. I've played guitar at Tunbridge Fair. I've just gone there and campaigned because we've got plenty of Windsor County people show up.
Yep,
it's our fair.
Well, Alan, the new building, the Heritage Building, that's kind of a bland name. Couldn't you have used like Mazza's Museum or something like that?
Joe Benning to Lieutenant Governor or something, or what?
We should have. It wasn't my idea, but that's what they came up with. I had some
Interesting.
other words.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you guys coming. You might have noticed we have fun with this committee. We try to pick on each
Well,
other as much as possible.
We hope that everybody from your team shows up at the fair this year.
Anything free to eat or what?
Oh, yeah, no problem.
At
Well, I
some
can't-
point,
We gotta
at
hit
some
up.
point, you gotta name something after Dana Goodnow.
Oh, I know it. He was a piece of work.
Yep.
Well, I can't speak for the rest of my committee, but for the rest of you guys that have come here to testify today, I can pretty much guarantee you I'll be at each of your fairs this year. If you see a big guy on a motorcycle waving at cars, that's probably me.
Love it.
We apologize if he shows up, okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming. Wish you.
Thank you
good
for all
luck
what you
over
guys do.
appropriations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, committee. And Alex in particular, we are scheduled to move over into section 11 with the military. I don't know if any of our witnesses are lined up yet.
They are not. I've let them know. I let them know about 15 minutes ago that we were running ahead of schedule, but I haven't gotten any confirmation that they could appear early.
Okay, so committee, I've got 2:03. If we can be back here in 10 minutes, we'll recommence the conversation.